One of my interests in the world is kind of knowledge and learning. As Mahdi Shaheeb, I think that's one of my interests in the world. And I think one of the tragedies of the world, one of the sad things about the world, is despite mobilizing all of the 50 billion people that have existed in the world, there's been just a 5% output of knowledge. That's like eating one bite of an apple from all of the knowledge that exists out there. We've produced maybe just 5% knowledge despite mobilizing all of the men and people in the world, and there's perhaps 50 billion of them. And I think we graduate our thinkers from schools and academies such as Plato and Aristotle, and those are the best people we place our trust in to advance knowledge for mankind and all of mankind and civilization. And I think that one of the sad aspects is if you look at the quality of that knowledge, it's very basic. It's kind of like ancient civilization and ancient basic. The best we've advanced in terms of human knowledge is combustion and four wheels and aircraft and flight. That's the best technology achievement. And in terms of government, the best government politic, the best government we've achieved is the Republic, which has lasted for 2,000 years. It's absolutely pathetic. And it could last another 2,000 years and another 2,000 years. That's the best government we can create and invent, despite having people like Leonardo da Vinci who infuse their passion and invent all kinds of miracles with art and colour and ideas. He invented the tank, he invented underwater diving, and what's the best that other people can do that we place our trust in? They do the Republic. That's the best they can achieve with government. Now, I think that there is something unusual with having all of this talent, but not being able to produce talent or advancement to a significant degree. How, if you ask how big the Republic is, it's quite nominal, quite basic. It barely functions, and it goes on for thousands of years. I think if we had more discussion with regular meeting halls or public places of knowledge, advancement, sharing and discussion and talking about the knowledge of the world, and perhaps knowledge as we find it as well, then there could be debate and talk and argument that could produce further ideas and perhaps more advanced thinking and advanced talk and advanced ideas for the world. But instead what we do is we find some thinkers which we give everything to. How much wealth do we give from our countries to these people? We give them a nominal income, we give them some public gratitude, and we give them a high importance of a position in the country, and that's the most we can give. But if national countries could make it a priority to hope in these intellectual people and these thinkers, then there perhaps could be more conviction and enthusiasm to perhaps look into the history of the world, into the eyes of the world, and perhaps convey the knowledge that is there and do it like some kind of a space program. I think that could be more advancement for the world. I think if you look at the achievement of the human story and mankind, the best achieved with the world is like a 10% development according to its whole world history. It's developed just 10%. It could develop 300%, with a lot more advanced ideas that have occurred every now and again in world history. Things like industrializing the planet, perhaps advanced forms of government that it could include communism and democracy and nationalism and other precepts of early day ideas that could perhaps develop if there is a public enthusiasm for these ideas. But I think that 10% development in the entire world history is disgraceful for the planet. It shows how human beings are quite feeble in their strength, that they can only develop 10%, and that's 35,000 years of civilization. They've developed just 4 wheels, combustion, some air flight. They've developed factory for their gross domestic output. They've developed retail shops for their produce and accommodation. They have small dwellings for their accommodation. They have basic cotton clothing for their clothing, and it's not proud clothing that can stand the test of the elements, but it's just cotton. And I think that in terms of its food, it's a sparse diet or a sparing diet. It doesn't seem to be available for everyone. There's a lot of poverty when there's a very easy solution to that poverty, and it's something to do with world trade and friendship. I think world trade and friendship, perhaps with shipping and imports and exports, could solve world poverty. So there are a plentiful existence of solutions for some of these small problems, and they are small problems. I think if we're honest, they are small problems, but I think, and there's plentiful solutions. There's solutions like the scientific, like the science that we test and investigate. That's how many solutions there are to these small problems, and those include political problems. We have a huge volume of solutions like science testing and investigation. So I think it's having big minds, and it's kind of like a passion for the soul of the world and for the human beings, and the psychology of existence as a life and human being. And I think that with that, I think that we can kind of develop ideas more than the silly thinkers Aristotle and Plato and Nietzsche and all of those Marx and the European rubbish that is the Enlightenment. I think we can achieve 1,000% better than that by having better thinkers that don't just come up with perhaps an 80 IQ of intelligent solutions, but I think the world should have an IQ of 120 with better thinkers rather than an IQ of 80. And I think that's what the world has. It has an IQ of 80, and this can be checked with public information. So I think that that's the disappointment with the world. It's sad for the human condition, and that's what it's called, the human condition. And I think that countries and nations do need to do more to kind of challenge and ask questions from their thinkers, and to perhaps build more solutions for the world, and perhaps think about more solutions for the world. And I think that if we can solve more of the world's problems, then it could advance a little bit more. And I think that would be very healthy for the world. Thank you very much.